Welcome to Stack's Q3 product webinar. My name is Brian Steiner. I lead the product management organization and will help facilitate the discussion today with the product team and some special guest speakers. We really have a jam-packed agenda this time around. In this session, we'll cover, as usual, what was released in the last quarter and provide insights into what's coming next. And then we'll give a sneak peek into Stack for Excel, a powerful add-on which will be available soon. And then we'll end by giving a quick tour of the new Stack community and share how to get connected. Before I hand it off, just a quick tip. If you need to make the webinar full screen, hover over the screen and select the maximize icon in the top left. With that, I will transition it over. Oops. Transition it over to Allison. One moment. All right, Allison, it's all yours.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'd like to show you something that's coming soon in the next week or so. So this is the new way to kick off a project by sending takeoffs from takeoff and estimate to build and operate for use in the field. I'll also be showing our streamlined upload flow. So I've shown you prototypes of this in the past, and now I will show you the built product. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to start here on a takeoff and estimate. I'm just showing you the account screen. So the first thing you'll want to notice is that we have a new permission that grants access to transfer your full project data over to build and operate. So for existing customers, this is available to owners and estimators by default, and then permissions can be given to other roles as needed. For new customers, IT admins and project creators are also given this by default, just because they'll most likely be creating projects in build and operate. First thing I want to show you is what my takeoffs look like in T&E. So before you do this process, the pre-con team should do any kind of final cleaning that they'll want to do before sending to the field, because this is going to be a snapshot in time and can't be adjusted after the fact. It can be deleted and resent if you need to, but you'll just want to do any normal prep work that you would do before you do a normal handoff process today. And then I'll show it to you in takeoff and estimate. In build and operate. So I've already created a new project over here, and now we can upload to basically seed my project with those bid documents. I'll select takeoff and estimate as my upload, filter my projects. One thing I want to mention here for those of you that have used the existing connection today is that we've made this connection a little bit more robust. Now we're matching up a user from build and operate to takeoff and estimate and making that a more solid connection, so you won't need to re-log in the future. You'll just need to do that once at the beginning. I can go ahead and select my project. Now, this screen is where you'll see most of the upload flow improvements. So on the left is my structure from takeoff and estimate, and on the right is my structure for build and operate. So now you'll see a few things right off the bat. One is that I've got the ability to move things into different folders on the build and operate side. So in the past, you needed to do an upload for each of these. But now we've kind of streamlined that so that you can do it all at once. So I'm just mapping some information to my folders. And then over on the right, you can see that I can select drawing or document based on the information I'm moving over there. You'll want to select drawings for anything that's a large scale plan. You'll want to select documents for things like specs or other supporting documents. I can move my new construction items as well. Those are drawings. And then I've got some supporting documents down here. So in the past, we couldn't move some of this information. So I'm going to go ahead and move my specs, my spec folder. And that's a document. I'll like to preserve that multi-page setup. And then I've got some other files as well. And I'm missing a folder over here on the right. So what I can do is create a new folder called maybe additional info or whatever it is that I want to call it. We couldn't do that before either. So even if you don't have any folders set up over here, you can start your upload and create whatever folder structure it is that you'd like. These are automatically documents. I'm going to go ahead and hit next, and that will get us to our version set page. This is where I say, hey, it's the bid set. By default, there'll be plans from stack, takeoff, and estimate. So that works as well. I'm going to go ahead and finish this one later. It takes a little while to process, so I kind of prepped up a similar upload so that you could see what that looks like. And so this part of the process has not changed, with the exception of I can now see what folder these items are going into. You'll want to cross-check your names and your titles just like you did in the past. And then I'll notify my colleagues and I'll publish. So it's as easy as that. I now can do that all in just a single upload instead of multiple uploads. Now you may have noticed on the right, I've got two different toasts. The first toast let me know that my files have been uploaded, and the second one let me know that things are in their folders for my team. So if I navigate through here, you can now kind of see that all of these files are up. You'll also notice I have a takeoff badge here for the different plans that had takeoffs on them. If I dive in there, I want to note one thing that's really different than what it used to look like. So in the past, we used to flatten the takeoffs into the drawing, and we would just bring over one big flattened page. And now we're bringing those over as layers. So now on the web, you'll simply see the background plan. You will note that we've got the little badges, and this badge up here is letting you know that this drawing has takeoffs. But now to see all of that information, you'll need to be in the mobile app. Great. Okay, let's see. I'm going to switch over now to my mobile app so you can see what that looks like. Just a second here. There we go. So I've already pulled this up in the mobile app, and you can see that we've got that same takeoff badge here in the list view, and we also have it here in the card view. I'm going to go ahead and open up that drawing that we looked at before. So there's a lot more here now in the mobile app. Although it might look very similar, it's very different. So the first thing I want to show is that everything's come in on a special stack takeoff layer. So now you've got the opportunity to just hide all of that information. So that was one of the big detriments of flattening all that information in the past. You often couldn't see what was behind it. So now I can just shut off that layer very simply. A few other things, I can tap on a takeoff and it will let me know now that that takeoff happens to be of wall type A, and it tells me which layer it's on. And you'll notice the legend is different as well. Rather than block off a bunch of the page with the legend, we elected to go ahead and make this a little bit more flexible. So I can resize this item and move it around as necessary. And I can also zoom in while also looking at the legend. So it's just a little bit more flexible than it used to be. Now I want to show the biggest upgrade here on the mobile side, and that is these filters. So now we have a third tab for filtering takeoffs. I can just hide my annotations. You can see that that hid highlight and some text that I had down here. I can hide all of my takeoffs. And then I can also filter individually by takeoffs. So if I just want to look at that one wall type, I can do that. And you can see that that's there. Or maybe I want to see a second wall type instead. Here's my 6-inch wall, so I can see those. I can also filter by labels and tags. So I just kind of arbitrarily put in a phase 1 for this project, and you can kind of see those. I've tagged all of those takeoffs on the bottom part of the page with that phase 1. that's just as an example for those of you that use tags and labels. I know there are a million different ways to use them, and you use them very creatively. So that will allow the field team to also understand all of that work that you did ahead of time as well. I'm going to go ahead and clear that one. And then we can just look at tags real quick, and you can see that if I isolate just the walls, we can see that there. And maybe I also want to go ahead and turn off the annotation so that it's just very clearly the walls. And again, I've got the ability to kind of double check which wall types, even though it's very obvious with my colors. Okay, great. So that's the synopsis of how to kick off a project, and now your field team will benefit from all that great information that you guys that the estimators and takeoff engineers have done ahead of time. So they'll have a better idea of what was planned where, and it'll be much more specific. You can also see that we've laid the groundwork for even more functionality in the future. Now that we're bringing this information over as data instead of flattened onto the image, we'll be able to leverage that for more and more things in the future. Okay, great. I'd also like to cover what's coming next for Build and Operate. So we'll be upgrading Procore that you'll be able to see in the very near future. We'll be showing the status of the project sync on web. We'll also be syncing all new revisions, not just the most recent revision. And we'll also support the reordering of revisions in Procore. We also have a new customer support team process for if you need to disconnect or reconnect your project with a different user. So that's coming very shortly. We'll also be able to view more information on these takeoffs that I just showed you today. So the hover information that you have in takeoff and estimate, we'll be able to see that soon in Build and Operate. That'll be one of our next items as well. And then project statuses for those Build and Operate customers. You know that it would be really beneficial to be able to archive some projects and get those off your project list. So that's coming up next as well. All right, that's everything from me, I think. Oh, there we go. Hand it off to Ryan.
Awesome. Thank you, Allison. Greatly appreciate you. So let's talk about what happened over in the world of T&E. Other than supporting Allison and helping her get all that wonderful information over to Build and Operate, we also worked on a couple of things as well here in our product, and also with the help of Miles and his team. We had added the expandable left-hand panel. We have a new recommend scale for our AI accelerated users. You can now bulk close sheet tabs, and we've made some copy project improvements. So I'd like to take a moment and kind of show you what all of that looks like in the app. Apologies, accidentally hit the wrong button. There we go. So real quick here, in case you're not familiar or you've never used the copy project, what we did is we kind of made it a little bit more robust so that when you're copying larger projects, those will actually now copy as well. So if you've never copied a project, it's 3 dots here on the project list, copy the project, and then it's just going to run in the background. For that, you can either just copy over just the takeoffs themselves or also include any plans and documents that you had there. So nice improvements there. Do you want to jump in here into the credit union and talk about some of the other improvements we made here on the UI? So one thing was the resize the left panel. So one of the things that we've noticed is that there's a lot of information here on the left-hand side based on the plans tree over on your takeoffs and things like that. But we do truncate at a certain size, right? So it made it very difficult for you to know what exactly you're working on or what sheet that you're looking at, things like that. So that is actually now expandable. If you hover your mouse right here at the edge, click and drag, that now expands. And you can actually expand it quite far too if you really need that real estate over on the left-hand side. That also works here under the takeoffs. When you're actually creating a takeoff, for example, you'll get a lot more real estate here as well. So let's go ahead and create a quick takeoff there. And as you can see, a lot of the properties and things like that also filter through. Same thing trickles down when you're actually measuring and the like. Same thing is true also on the libraries. We're giving you all that real estate here on that left panel. So it makes it a lot easier for you to find the assemblies that you're looking for, your very long named items that you might have, things like that. So a lot of real estate to work with here on the left-hand side. If that left panel ever gets in the way, of course, you can always collapse it as well, just by clicking on this arrow button here. One of the other improvements, and this is dedicated to our AI accelerated users, is we now recommend the scale. So we're kind of leveraging a lot more AI into the application. So I want to zoom in here real quick on this floor plan. And you'll notice that the scale is 1/4 to 1 foot. What we can do now is when I hit new scale, you will see that that comes pre-filled, and you will see a little badge next to the recommended scale for that. If that's the correct scale, great. All you have to do is hit done. Otherwise, if it was the wrong scale, because AI can be wrong sometimes, all you have to do is just click on that drop down, select the right one, and then continue on your way. So since this is correct, all I have to do is hit done, go over to my takeoff, and start drawing. Easy as that, ready to go. And that's going to be available for any other sheet that you have in the project as well. It's not just specific to floor plans, it's any sheet that you've uploaded for our AI accelerated users. So if I jump over here to the reflected ceiling plan, again, zoom down here. Let's see if it got it right. Oh, it didn't. Looks like it's thinking that's a 1/2 inch. No problem. We just choose that, switch it over to 1/4, and I can go ahead and start drawing. Easy as that. While you're working on a project, obviously you're going to be opening a lot of plans along the way. So one thing to make your life a little bit easier, especially if you're trying to find the right sheet, is if you right click on any of these sheet tabs up top and you just want to get a whole bunch of them out of your way, you now have some bulk closing options. So you can still close this individual tab. You can close all of the tabs, every other tab than this one, any tab to the left or any tab to the right. So let's go ahead and say close it all. And it's going to go ahead and bring us back to the overview tab. You can also do the same thing here. When you click on overview tabs, we'll have the option here to say close all tabs as well. All right, that's everything that is new from the takeoff side. So we will go ahead and hand you off over to David.
Good to see you all. It's been a while. Lots of good stuff here in the estimating side. So I'm just going to advance the screen real quick. I'm going to go over 4 quick features that we've focused on in the last quarter. One is to include zero costs items in your proposals. I'll explain that in just a second. We've done a few interface improvements. We've changed it, or we've given you a new preference for how we calculate unit price. We've given you some options for rounding. And then this is probably going to release Thursday or Friday this week. So I'm going to go ahead and call it done. We're going to allow you to roll out and group by item groups. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my screen now, and you should be able to see my stack, and I'll just kind of go through these real quick. So the proposal, what we heard from you all, from our users, was sometimes I've got a bunch of zero cost items like these over here. I haven't priced them yet, but I know that they're part of my scope. So what I want to do is create a proposal that includes everything that's in scope, even though I haven't put a price to it. All you got to do is hit this button right here. So you include items with no cost, you download your proposal, and then that will include everything. So that's a one nice little feature and that was a request from you all. So there you go. Another one here, we've done some UI improvements, including down here with the other costs. It's easier to open this guy, easier to drag them up and down. And we've also categorized these by base cost, margin, and tax, because those directly feed to your dashboard over here. So we made that direct connection. If you look at base, margin, and your subtotal and tax, these come right here. So that kind of helps you keep those organized and understand what those are. And then lastly over here, I really love this feature. All of this wasted real estate, right? All of this space here, man, I wish I could get rid of that because I've got a lot of data here that I'm trying to look at. Well, guess what? Just take this guy and stretch him over to the left as far as you want. And we let these other column headers bleed over as far as they need to. So you can gain a whole lot of real estate back there. Okay, good. So those are the things there. The measured unit price difference. Now what that is I'm going to come down here to let's see, I'm going to go down to my painting. So hang on just a second. Okay, so I've got some ceiling paint here. Brick brick repaint refresh. Now notice here I've got square feet attached to this. This takeoff is a linear takeoff. So what I've done is I've just drawn a line and given it a height, and I've got some formulas that drive this. But then I've also got a linear item here. So I'm measuring square feet here from this area takeoff, but I've also got a linear foot item. So what people have asked for is this measured unit price here. Let me just get rid of subcontract. What that does is it takes the total and it divides it by the measured quantity, right? So in this case, I'm going to get 49 cents a square foot based on the measured quantity. Well, we added a preference here, and this was also a user request that allows you to change that so that it's based on the takeoff quantity, not the item quantity. Let's make sure we understand that difference here. So this is the item quantity, but this is the takeoff quantity. So what people wanted was, I want to have the total amount here divided by the takeoff quantity so that I know how many, what's my cost per square foot in this case. So I'm going to go down here, we'll turn that on, click this preference, we'll save that. And what you're going to see is this changes now to 18 cents a square foot instead of the 45 cents a linear foot. Another nice little feature. And again, this was a big request by a lot of our users. Okay, next I'm going to go over here to our item groups. This is new, so this is hot off the press. We're about to release this, and you can see here what I've got is a new column called item groups. So if you have assemblies and they have different item groups, we're going to show those to you here, including your required items, so you can break them out. Now, why is this important? Well, number one, it's just good to see what those item group choices were, right? If you're not sure what item groups are, let me open these assembly inputs and I'll show you. In this assembly, I have choices for my wallboard, my second wallboard, and my third wallboard. So I might have different types of JIP type 1, 2, 3, or 4, let's say, or I might have all the same. So let's say I choose all the same. Before we would roll it up into one line item. Now we show you those different choices so you can break it out. Yeah, if you wanted to, you could even set different purchase quantities. You could even set different unit costs if you want. So pin that thought. That should be released by Friday if everything goes well. Now, before I leave here, I just want to show you one thing. All of this that I've just shown you is here in the stackct.com product updates. So if you go to that URL, we keep kind of a list of the big features that we release, and a lot of these include videos. So you can come in here and see what those are and what those. You can get a quick video of or demonstration of what those look like. So take that, bookmark it, and come back to it next time you need to see what's going on and what we've done. Okay, so that's all I've got. I'm going to advance the slide here, and I'm going to turn it over to Miles.
Sweet, thanks, David. So with that, we segue into integrations. We have a set of integration updates here that we have worked through. The first one being Acumatica. I think the first question that comes to mind if Acumatica is your ERP is that you will get those monthly emails around when their releases are happening, and we also get them. And as a part of that, we ensure that our integration stays up to date, that it doesn't impact any daily operations. And so we just to validate, we do support their first and second release and have validated that on our end. So good news there. From the two remaining here, we have gypsum management and supply. So GMS is a new partnership and integration that we now support. And so what that integration does is it allows you to export your item quantities directly to your local GMS supplier. And GMS has many locations, and we support 100% of those locations. So you can be able to find those, or you're able to find those within your account settings. So if you're interested in this integration and you're looking to make that process faster and more streamlined, so you don't have to do that manually and offline, where it's a little bit more error prone, then you can reach out to your account manager to have that conversation. And then separately, at the end, we've supported, for anyone who's been with Stack for some time, you may be aware that we have a QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop estimate integration, but we have not yet supported that with our estimate worksheet. And so all three of these are released and live. And so if you're interested in that QuickBooks integration, this is also available, and you can connect with your account manager on it as well. But yeah, with that said, there's no demo on my side for this. I will go ahead and pass this over to Ryan again.
Great. Thank you, Miles. All right, so let's talk about what's coming up next here in Q4. I believe last webinar, Brian had alluded to our AI accelerated experience, and I kind of touched base on that, that we added the recommend scale to that AI accelerated user. So we're going to be continuing to expand the AI offerings under this particular user. So our goal here is to kind of eliminate efficiencies, reduce risk, and really empower your team by basically leveraging AI to be an assistant to your workflows. So we're going to continue on with from recommend scale onto pre-naming plans, classifying sheets with discipline, and then eventually leading into chat with plans. Really, our focus right now in Q4 is just trying to accelerate getting you to that takeoff as quickly as possible, right? So making sure that the project is set up, you can find the information as quickly as you possibly can, and things like that. To give you a quick preview of what that looks like, I do have a small screenshot here that you can kind of take a look at in the direction that we're heading. So as you can see over on the left-hand side, you'll be seeing a lot more organization from us off the bat. So we could be creating and organizing your plans by the discipline code. So architectural will be under architectural folders, so forth and so far. You can also see over here on the right-hand side, we're starting to kind of build out the UI for our new chat system. And so we're going to be focusing on that here in Q4, and we'll probably keep it contained to just the takeoff area for now and to just your questions about the project itself, just kind of a good launching point from there. So if you guys have any questions about it or any thoughts or any feedback about this, I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on it. Feel free to kind of reach out to me directly, or feel free to submit a question here, and I'll connect with you guys. And then from here, we'll hand it over to David.
Hey guys, sorry, I was on mute. 3 things in the very immediate future. 1, line item profit markup. So in the estimate today, we have a markup percent column that feeds to your costs. And so we're adding a new column that will feed to your markup. Feed to your profit specifically. So you can do either. You could mark up for cost. You can also mark up for profit now. Also, we're going to be squeezing into the Q4 the ability to calculate that percentage as markup or as margin. 2 sides of the same coin. If you don't know what that means, you're welcome to call me and we'll try to get you straight, or you can Google it. There's a lot of information on that. But yeah, markup versus margin should be coming out in Q4. And then last is something what I'll call sticky unit costs for now. Basically, we've given you the ability to price things based differently based on your assembly, your tag, your sheet, whatever. So you might say, I want to price this at one way for, $1 for phase 1, and then $2 for phase 2. With sticky unit costs, you're still going to have that, but we're going to kind of flip the coin a little bit so that everything will, once you set a price for a given item, that's going to be the same price for all items, and it'll stick. So no matter what label, what phase, what sheet, what tag, whatever it is, that, or even assembly, it'll stick. Now you still will be able to unlock it. So you say, I really need to price these 2 differently, but the default will be that everything will be linked up. So this will be a nice feature coming out here pretty soon. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Miles.
Thanks, David. In terms of what's coming up for integrations, we have 2 big items here. One related to Acumatica. I think the question that we get sometimes is, Stack integrated with, this ERP that Stack supports, but how are you going to continue to support it? And the answer to that is yes. We recognize that there are going to be updates that we need to make in order for the integration to be efficient and provide a way to have successful estimates being exported. And so as a result of that, there's a number of items here. One being we recognize that there are multiple project templates that sometimes are required at that time of export, so we will support that. We've learned that tag values are pretty important, and Acumatica supports them in a different way. So we've essentially moved that field into the task ID field. So that way it's visible within the estimation screen, as well as any of the reporting screen that that field appears in within Acumatica. For sales quotes, we're going to be expanding support for 100 character length for tag values. And last but not least here, as you import projects from Acumatica, we will leverage that import as a way to remember at the time of export that is the project you've been working in. But you can still select a different project if you happen to switch between projects at that point. And then last but not least, you heard from David as well that they are now going to be supporting line item profit markup percentages. And so we will also bring that into the API so that, in the event that you have a workflow that you want to support around that profit markup percentage outside of Stack, that the API will be available for you. So with that said, that's it for integrations. I will kick it over to Aaron Kivett to talk through something pretty exciting.
Thanks, Miles. So good to talk to you all today. So almost all of our customers, are bringing Stack information into Excel for one purpose or another today, and it's been a long-term goal of ours to try to make this process as easy as possible. So I'm really excited today to introduce a new partnership with a company called Velixo. Velixo is a great team of people based in Montreal and Europe that's been doing some amazing work. They've currently been focused on enabling people to use Excel to build custom financial reports from their accounting and ERP software. We've been working with them over the past few months on a new product that we call Stack for Excel. We're going to be launching this product later this year, but we wanted to give our favorite customers, those that join our quarterly updates, an early look at how great we think the capabilities here are in this product. So David's going to give you a demo here of code that has not shipped yet, so bear with us if he runs into any trouble.
Okay, I'm in my Excel file. I am Quinn Construction. This is my worksheet. This is what I use to estimate all the time, right? We take this and we copy it every time we get a new project. So I might have a permit here. I add mobilization, a couple of days of mobilization, 15 days on site. We got 2 inspections. I got a whole erosion control thing. I don't know what else that, you might add to this, right? So this is your template. This is all Excel right now. I go down here. I've got my overhead, my profit. I could change these, of course. Let's make it 3.75. And then what that's going to feed to is in my proposal cover over here. See, I've got my additional costs. I'm waiting for my material and labor information. So let's go back to the main worksheet. And the thing I have to do here is pick a project. So this was my template. Let's go pick First Bank of Omaha. This is the one that I'm going to be working on. As soon as I click that button, something magic happens, thanks to our Velixo friends, which is that this entire worksheet is now getting populated with data, as you see here, from that particular project. So all of my items here are showing up from my material. All my labor items are showing up here. They're in a table that I can control. See, I can set the formatting over here. I can even include new fields if I want. So I've got this quantity override. You know what? I want 550 of those. For my unit costs, we're going to bump that up to $3. For my markup, I'm going to take a 5% markup on that particular line item. All right, let me come down here and say this electrical conduit. I've got 3. I'm going to make it 5. Come over here, use my unit cost override of 70 and my markup of 10%. And the only reason I'm going to really show you, though, you'll see in a minute why I'm showing you those and why I can set costs here, because what I'm doing is marrying Stack data, which is this over here, with calculated Excel data, with manually input data to create an incredible estimate. I come over to my proposal cover. It's all filled in now. And right now, all I have to do is hit Acrobat, and I'll go print this to PDF. So I'll create my PDF here. I'm going to say I need my material. So we'll add that sheet. We'll add that sheet, convert to PDF, and I'm off and running in just a few clicks. So let's go to my desktop. I'm going to drop this here on the desktop. We'll call this First Bank. Now, what's key here is not only that I can print the proposal directly from Excel using the Velixo data, but you'll notice that I never actually went into Stack, right? What's cool about that is obviously I've got a team doing my take off somewhere else. They might, but I'm the estimator. All I can come here and back up estimate. So I've got, and I can tweak it however I want. So, for example, these totals, although they're coming from all this data that comes from Stack, I can round it however I want. I've got this -2 here, and this roundup, which rounds all of the data up to the nearest 100. Okay, so let's say now somebody says, oh, I call in, I say, hey, looks like you're missing some doors, right? So I'm going to go back into my estimate over here, go to my materials, and I'm not seeing any doors in here. Like, I know there's got to be doors in this project. So I call my guy. He goes over and says, all right, yeah, let me go look. Oh, we forgot the doors. Okay, so let's go ahead and take these doors. Let's go add them. So click, 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 click. And just add, he's counting up the doors here. Just a few, just for now, for the demo purposes. Now I'll do double doors, and I've got one there, one there. Great. I've got all my quantities here. I'm seeing 9 and 11, or 9 and 2, so a total of 11 doors. He calls me, says, I'm done. Dave, great. All I got to do here is go back to Velixo and refresh my data. So I'm going to click this, and what it's going to do is pull all of that data out of my Stack project a second time, now with the updates. And what's really cool is that these other fields, like the quantity overrides, the unit cost, the markups, they stay where they were, even though I have new, right here, these new line items for my doors. And of course, all of this feeds up to my proposal cover, so I can reprint the proposal. Very, very cool stuff. Now, there's a lot of stuff that we can do now. There's a lot more that will be coming later. But the key idea here is, obviously, I stay in Excel. I can pull everything I want. I can use all my Excel formulas that I'm used to. I could even pull prices from a different tab if I wanted to. So I could have all of this set up in my own Excel file. Let me show you how all this works. I'm not going to save this for now. I'm going to close this guy down, close that down, and I'm going to pull up a different template. We're going to deliver both of these templates. Here's a different template. I'll just show you a couple of magic things you can do here. This is where that's coming to this project list. So let me show you how that works. This is an Excel function that Velixo has provided us. See that? Equals stack.expand project range. So I could come over here, for example, and say equals stack.expand project range tab. What's my connection name? Well, I've actually given it a name. I'm using an Excel name for that. What's my project? And this is going to be Stack for Excel project name. Boom. And that's going to pull down my list. So lots of good stuff here. Let me show you a little bit more. I'm going to say, you know what? I know we're doing a bank somewhere in Arizona. I just type that in. It limits this list. That's thanks to a Velixo function argument that they give us here in Excel. I could also say, hey, you know what? Okay, forget that. I just want to look everything that's bid date between October 1st and now. So it limits that list down. Then once I pick that project, a whole other world of stuff happens. Let's go take a look. So I go to the project data tag. I've got all of my plans, and then Velixo is providing that. See this here? I've got all my plans from that project. I've got all my takeoffs, again, a Velixo function, my tags, and then the values of those tags or labels, my cost types. I can get a full item report, takeoff report. This is a fun one. Here, I've already picked the project, and now I'm going to say, hey, on this particular plan, let's choose the ceiling plan. Just show me the takeoffs that are on that particular plan. And I've got a finite list just for that one plan. Over here, I'm going to say, you know what? I want to pick not just the plan. Let's do the ceiling plan, right? But then I'm only going to care about, say, ACT. And it's going to tell me exactly what items belong to the framing or the ACT or whatever it is. Let's try something a little bit different here. Let's go back to the finishes and branding plan. And I'll say, just show me all the paint. So let's do interior wall. And I've got a plan, I've got a takeoff, and it gives me all of the items related to that particular combination of plan and takeoff. One last one here. Here I'm using I'm using tags for my trades. So I want to see all of the items for any given trade. Just show me the concrete. Boom. Right? Let's come down here. Show me the framing. All of this is coming from my Stack project. And at any point in time, if I need to, I'm just going to come up to this Belixo function and say refresh the project based on new data, grab the latest data from my Stack project. All right, that's my demo. I super apologize for all the technical difficulties at the beginning of this. Hopefully it was worth it, and I hope you all enjoy this incredible, incredible new feature.
Thanks, David. I actually learned a lot. Thank you, David. I am Julie Stevens, VP of Customer Success, and I'm really excited to discuss the launch of our Stack community. This is a place made for you, powered by you. It is kind of think of it a Reddit, right? It is really made for you to connect with your peers, to share, how you use Stack, give everyone ideas, and then really learn from each other. And we will still be here. Stack will still be here. We'll still be adding our tips and tricks here. We'll be commenting on your post, but we know that you're the real experts. And I hear it all the time from the account managers of creative ways that our customers are using Stack. And we figured what better place is to create a community so you can share it with others. So before I jump in, I have the honor of introducing Jason Armstrong. He's an estimator from Continental Construction. He was part of our early adopters, and he really gave us a lot of feedback. He was great. He made a bunch of posts. You'll go in there and you can see the posts and comments. But really, what I want to do is I want to turn it over to Jason real quick and, just kind of give us your experience and what your thoughts are on the Stack community. And Jason, whenever you're ready.
Oh, I'm on stage. Great.
You are.
Well, guys, we all know how much horsepower Stack has, and we all know how great the trainers and the development group is. And they're constantly rolling out new features that make our jobs easier and faster. But we also have to know that Stack is designed to work for the entire industry. And all of us have these niche areas that we work in. And as much as the training helps and coordination with the dev team is wonderful, we constantly run into these little hiccups that we run into in our own little scopes of work that we live in. So what I'm really looking forward to on the Stack community is that's going to give us interaction between all of us folks in the field that work in our little bubbles that are in different areas of the estimating job title, I suppose, but it's going to give us a wonderful resource to interact directly with each other. I don't know how many times I've taken a Stack tool that was designed for one purpose and torqued it to meet my specific needs, but I always feel like I'm working alone. This is going to give us an opportunity to collaborate amongst ourselves and to help each other accelerate our training. The other thing that I'm looking forward to in the Stack community is that not only can we have these discussions amongst ourselves, but having Stack involved in the forum as well is going to give them a real-time, real-world insight into our needs and some of the issues that we tend to run into. And I fully expect this to greatly accelerate, some of the features in Stack. It'll give them a lot better insight into our needs as an industry and give them better tools to decide how they want to upgrade their software. So those are a couple of things I'm really looking forward to in the Stack community. Think of it as Reddit, but without the karma requirements.
Yeah, there you go.
So thank you for the time, Julie. I'll give it back to you.
Thank you, Jason. I don't think I could have said it any better. Spot on. That's exactly why we created this community. Side note, I looked at the Continental Construction website. Go check out their houses. Beautiful. I didn't get to tell you the other day, Jason, but beautiful. Anyways, let's flip over into to our webpage here. I want to note that we are going to start doing this only in our takeoff and estimate platform side of things, just to get, soak it in, get some questions. And then once we feel ready, we're going to open it up to our build and operate side of the house. So when you log in now, go up to the top right-hand corner under the question mark, and you will see Stack Community. So the link's there, click on it. It's going to take you to the Stack page. You will be able to see most things when you come here, but it's really important to understand if you are not logged in, and let me just log out to show you really quickly. If you're not logged in, you're going to come here and it's going to say access forbidden. We don't want that. So what I want you to do is come in here the first time and create an account, and then you will be able to come in and log in to see everything in Stack. I want to make you remember this. When you create your username, you're stuck with it. So you can use whatever you want, but you're stuck with it. Just a reminder. So once you log in here, 2 key places I would probably go is first go to the welcome area. This is everything you need to know about Stack. There's some great posts here. Katie Blue, she's our manager of support, and there's a lot of good information here on using Stack. So go in here, read up. It's going to tell you all about using Stack. You can reply and comment and ask questions. The other thing in this welcome area, you can ask the community things. Whoops, let me go one more back here. Under here, you also see Stack announcements. I recommend come in here, click in here. There's nothing in here yet. But what we're going to do is anytime there's a new release, we're going to post a little bit about it. We'll link to the actual release notes, but we're going to have conversations about it. So what I recommend is coming and hitting subscribe, and then you'll get emails once there's something new to talk about. Once you go back to the main page, the other main area that you will go to a lot is Ask the Community. This is what Jason was talking about. And when you click here, you can actually see there's a post from Jason here. So when he was helping with our early adopters. So you can come in here, read, and interact. This is where you get a chance to give feedback and give ideas. And you can, it's any kind of post that you're used to. You can add links, pictures, anything you want. Come and interact. Then probably the final thing that's really important is the create topic here. This is where you come to ask questions. You can ask a question, start a conversation, equally or both are fine. Put all your title in here and your descriptions. You can add tags if you want. And we'll be in here checking it. We'll respond to you, but we're really asking for you as users to come in and respond to people within the community. There is an area where we will, as the trainers and industry consultants, will come in here. We're going to add tips and best practices and articles. Feel free to go through the other tabs in here, all our webinars, events, help library. The final thing I want to point out is our leaderboard here. And as in your badges, so as you post, comment, reply, you will earn different badges depending upon what you do, and you will be ranked on our leaderboard. So what I want to do is go back to go back to the slides. If I can get there. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. And talk about the leaderboard. I'm highly competitive. So of course, there's going to be a little competition here, but the first 100 people that log in, create your username, you get to be enrolled in a raffle to win $250. So remember, go in to take off an estimate and go to the little question mark and click on Stack Community. Then at the end of the month, we're going to look at the leaderboard. Top 10 people on the leaderboard will get to get some Stack swag. So we're excited. If you have questions, please ask your account manager, support. They're all prepared. They're all excited. And I look forward to seeing you in the community. And then I think we're moving on to Q&A.
Thank you, Julie. Bring the team back up. And we have a couple of minutes for some Q&A. I'll ask my team to go off mute so that you all can hear. Let's see if we have any good questions that I'm seeing over on the right. First one is, when you copy the takeoffs from 2 different tabs, do the drawings resize?
No, not at this time. And I want to make sure I understand this correctly. I'm copying takeoffs from one sheet over to another sheet. And that sheet may be a slightly different size depending on how it was processed by the architect or how it was downloaded from the system. Is that correct? If so, no, we don't have any capabilities of that sort. But I'd really love to understand that use case a little bit more. I believe this is a question from Rob. Is that correct, Brian?
No, this is a question from Jessica.
Jessica, okay. So Jessica, if you don't mind, I'll reach out to you just to make sure I'm understanding the problem space correctly. But if based on how I'm understanding it, no, not at this time, but I'd really love to learn that use case.
I'm going to jump up. Matthew added, what is an AI accelerated user? Do you want to take that, Ryan?
Yeah, AI Accelerated User is a new subscription tier that we now offer that includes or bundles both our standard takeoff tools as well as our AI accelerated tools. And those AI accelerated tools include recommend scale. They will include the pre-naming plans that we talked about in what's next, chat with plans, classify by discipline, things like that. And we'll continue to grow that AI accelerated offerings as well, and kind of make some decisions based on that. So,
including the current floor plan capability.
Correct. Yep. My apologies. Also includes the floor plan AI as well.
Awesome. All right. Maybe one more question. We will follow up with these questions afterwards. There's a lot here. I know we had a lot of content here. So we will follow up if we didn't already in the chat. But one more, will a copy be available to handle larger files now? I did 3,000 pages one this morning. It took 10 minutes. One was several thousand have just been feeling. I assume this is for...
Be a mix. This will be on the TE side, I think, right, Ryan?
Yeah, so we did expand how we basically reinvented how we approach copy project to support larger projects. We did notice that in some cases it would fail when you try to copy that project. So Miles's team kind of worked behind the scenes to improve how that functions. So it may take a little bit longer, especially for those larger projects, but we should have more reliable results during that copy. If you still have problems, please reach out to us because we do want to make sure that that project is within our recommended limits. I did post a link in that response as well. So we just want to double check to make sure that project is of the right size that we can handle that. If not, we might have to take some corrective actions in order to copy that. So.
And I'll just have my team take a look anyways. You said you did it this morning, so I may just reach out to you too as well, Eric.
All right, perfect. We're running out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and close up. We do have a couple of slides before we wrap. Here at Stack, we're excited to continue innovating and bring you the best products to market, but we can't do it without you. So if you have any great ideas you want to share with us or simply want to let us know you're interested in participating in any of our feedback sessions as we build out new capabilities, you can scan one of these QR codes on the slide. Also can go to the community. So we'll be adding additional capabilities there to join different types of sessions to participate with us as a team. So feel free to do that. We'll send that link after the fact as well. And then also want to just remind you of the many other resources beyond the community that we have. So please be sure to take advantage of all the opportunities you see here and let us help you use Stack in the most optimal way. Hopefully you learned something new, take back and implement in your day. And we thank you so much, as always, for investing your time with us. Thanks.